Just letting you guys know right now that I'm not going to be able to answer only one book for basically all these questions. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name's Yasmin, but my friends all call me Yazzie and you guys can too. Today we are doing the mid-year book tag. And I'm super duper excited because I've read a whole bunch of really amazing books this year so far. And I feel like it's a really nice idea, you know, whoever invented the mid-year book tag to, you know, just sit down and reflect on everything that you've read for the past year. So let's get into it. So I've actually never done a reading goal before, and I've done my first one for this year and I've put it at 80 books. As of right now, I have read 42. So I'm 2 books ahead of schedule, and that is pretty good. Let's get into it with our first question. What is the best book you've read so far? I have a few. Obviously, I have a few because how could you tell someone to pick just one? Give me a second to grab them all. Okay, so I have 3 books. Yes, they are all parts of series, but they're really good. Okay, first up, we'll go in the order that I read them this year because this is in like no ranking order whatsoever. But first up, we have Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the 3rd final book in the Powerless trilogy. This book was so good. It gave me the biggest book hangover that I've ever had in my entire life. I cannot iterate how amazing this book was. The thing that I really loved this book was the plot was a whole lot more complex, political than it was in the first 2, which I really loved, and also just more eventful in general. And I love this whole series with my whole heart. It is one of my all-time favorites. And the thing that I think that especially made this book one of my favorites is Lauren Roberts' writing style is so much better. It just gets so much more like vivid and imaginative and poetic in a sense that it made me so happy to read this. I was having so much fun and it made me cry and tear up multiple times throughout the books. And I don't cry very easily for books. I tear up quite a lot, but I don't actually like cry, if that makes sense. But yeah, this one. I love this. I love the whole series. Okay, the next one is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. Again, the final book in the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. This book was also something else entirely, and traumatic, and I died and cried and laughed and everything reading this book. It's so brilliantly thought out and executed. By the time you get to this book, you are absolutely in love with the characters. They're basically your best friend now, and to just see what they go through is just heartbreaking. All these books made me cry. All of my favorite books made me cry. But then again, that's what makes them a good book, you know, they play with your emotions. Okay, we're seeing a recurring theme here with them all being part of a series, but I just think I personally grow so much more attached to book characters when they're part of a series, just because, you know, you're with them for longer. So we also have The Gilded Cage by Lynette Noni. Oh, this book was also something else. This book had me crying. This whole series was absolutely incredible. It's just this one was so amazing. If you love found family, you know, a whole bunch of characters that are all completely different and they just love each other so much, go read this series. It is incredible. It feels like you're there with them. You know, every interaction they have with each other is just so healing in a sense that these characters really, like, they're genuinely my favorite people ever. This book is now a part of me. Okay, I will cherish this book and this series forever. I swear my bookshelf is gonna look like bare by the end of this video. Okay, next, what is the best sequel? Wait, I think I answered that question. Can I just say I answered that question? I answered that question. Those books are actually amazing. The best sequels ever. Yes, they are not the first book in a series, so technically I answered both questions. Okay, favorite new release of this year. I'm gonna have to go with Fearless. Again, this book, guys, this book was just so good. It's just so good. No, like, you guys don't you actually don't get it. I love this book so much. Fearless especially will rip your heart out. That's why you should read it, obviously. Go read it. But yeah, 2025 has actually had really good releases this year. I also really love Sunrise on the Reaping. I feel like I did something wrong by reading this after Fearless, because I think I only gave it 5 stars, but now looking back at it, I feel like if I just read this after any other book, it would have been a 5 star. It's just my own fault after The Hangover that I just happened to read this. But yeah, Sunrise on the Reaping is so good, and I love it because it doesn't feel like Suzanne Collins wrote it just for the sake of writing another book. It feels like this stuff would actually happen in the real world. It feels completely canon, which, you know, it obviously is. But I think I had my doubts before reading this book that I would just be like, oh, she's just telling a story of whatever. But no, she gave us proper insight into Hamish and his story, and, you know, why he is the way he is when we see him with Katniss and Peter, and it's heartbreaking. You know it's going to be heartbreaking. Also, I am so excited for the movie. The casting is amazing. Okay, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have two. First up, we have the novella coming out for the Powerless series, Fearful. If I recall correctly, it comes out September 2nd, and I'm super duper excited for that one because, like I said, I love Powerless series. And I'm also looking forward to Glorious Rivals, which is the second book in the spin-off series of the Inheritance Games trilogy called, I think it's called the Grandest Game trilogy. It's the one after this. I really love the Inheritance Games. It's one of my favorite series ever. I'm gonna be honest, I wasn't that big a fan of the Grandest Games. I thought it was really good up until the ending, and I think the pacing could have been a little bit better personally for this one. But all my questions should be answered in the next book, and, you know, I want to know what happens. So looking forward to that one too. Okay, next question. Prettiest book that I bought this year. I have three. My hardcover edition of the Powerless trilogy. These beauties. I am the luckiest girl in the world to own these. I love these so much. They are the most gorgeous things. Like, wow. I love these so much. Like, that is beautiful. They are so gorgeous. Oh, and they're also signed. All of mine are also signed. So these are by far the prettiest books I own, and, you know, my most treasured. Okay, new favorite author. I have two. These aren't like new debut authors, but authors who are new to me. First up, we have Stephanie Garber, Caraval trilogy, and also Once Upon a Broken Heart. I am right now reading Finale, and I'm really loving it. I love the Caraval trilogy so much, and I definitely want to go and read Once Upon a Broken Heart. So yeah, I really love Stephanie Garber's writing style. I feel like it's just so magical and whimsical in the sense that it's so fantastical that it really just brings you to a whole other world that I especially love with her writing, because genuinely it just teleports me somewhere completely new, and I love it so much. The movie in my head with Stephanie Garber's writing is so detailed. Like, I could tell you anything and everything that is going on in my head when reading her books. So that is why I especially love her, and also her stories. Like, the plot in her stories are so fun and magical that I just love them. And I'm really looking forward to reading Once Upon a Broken Heart when I finish this. And we also have Lynette Noni. Where is Gilded Cage? I don't know where Gilded Cage is, so we can deal with these two. This is one of my all-time favorite series, okay? I have now made it my life mission to make everybody go and read these series because it's genuinely so good. It's so good. You guys don't understand how amazing this series is, okay? Her writing is so heartfelt. She builds the world amazingly. Her characters are genuinely real people to me. She is one of my favorite authors ever. And so yeah, Lynette Noni and Stephanie Garber, I am reading your entire backlist. I promise you that. You guys let me know what's your favorite series that you read this year, because I really want to get into some new ones as well. Okay, a sad one. Your biggest disappointment. My biggest disappointment was Such Charming Liars by Karen McManus. It's not that I didn't like this book, I just expected more. Because the premise sounded really exciting to me, you know? It's a murder mystery, there's a heist involved, hidden identities, alibis, you know, it sounded really exciting. Sadly, this was one of those books. Don't get me wrong, it was still fun, just I feel like it could have been more. It could have been more exciting and suspenseful. I don't really know what it is that bothered me with it specifically. It just wasn't captivating in the sense that it could have been with the idea and the premise of what it was. Yes, there were plot twists and those were, I think, good and well thought out. I just didn't like it that much. Okay, biggest surprise. For me, personally, that is... Where did it go? I found it. Okay, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. It is a tiny novella, but I did not expect to love this book as much as I did, because this is a classic. I don't read classics that much, but I really love this one. So this is a horror book, and I think if anyone is trying to get into classics, then you should read this one, because it doesn't read like a classic, you know, it just reads like a normal book. I think it's not hard to understand and stomach is what I mean. And also the story is just really engaging and exciting and scary. It's actually really scary. It really had me going, okay, what is going to happen next? I'm terrified. When I tell you, this book had my heart racing, and I did not expect that at all. So yeah, this one was really exciting for me. And also the message that it conveys of, you know, the duality of human nature, and you know how everyone has a good and evil side, and what would happen if one took over the other. And it was just a fun, good time. Another book that surprised me was Wonder. The only reason I own this book is because my sister had to get it for school and she never ended up reading it, so she gave it to me. But I really love this too. I feel like the reason these books surprise me is because they're not from the genre that I specifically lean towards most of the time. So when I do find something, you know, outside of my comfort zone that I really love, I go like, oh, you know, that's really cool. Oh, I want to dance with somebody. I want to feel the heat with somebody. And you know, this book also really makes you think, you know, what does life look like from other people's perspectives? And you never know how other people feel about a certain situation. And I think it just has a really wonderful message that anybody could appreciate, no matter what type of books you typically lean towards. So yeah, pleasantly surprised by these two books. Next question. Made me cry. I have 3. Oh my god, they're the same 3. They're the same 3 from the start, but that's why I love them, okay? I mean, I hate to admit it. The Gilded Cage and The Blood Trader, the second and third book in the Prison Healer series, made me cry and tear up, and like, I was not okay. And also As Good as Dead. As Good as Dead made me tear up. It still takes a lot to get me to tear up, so you know, that gets special acknowledgement. Blood Trader made me cry and tear up multiple times throughout the book, and Gilded Cage made me tear up every 20 pages, I swear. And then Fearless also made me cry and tear up throughout the whole thing. But yeah. Okay, a book that made you happy. Lots of books make me happy, but I want to say one specifically is one that I've never ever seen anyone talk about, and that is Table for Five by Izzy Bromley. I've never seen anyone talk about it, but it just made me happy. It's really wholesome. It's about, I honestly forgot her name. I think it was like Addie or Abby. I like to think it was Abby. I know it started with an A. Basically, she gets unexpectedly laid off from her job, and after that she takes a step back and she realizes, wait, my entire life revolved around my job. I genuinely have nothing and no one. What do I do with my life? And so she finds out she's really lonely. So her local cafe has a community table. Find someone to talk to, make some new friends. And so in a moment of desperation, she sits down, and you know, all these people are vastly different from one another, but something has brought them all together to sit down at this table. And we see the friendship blossom between this group of people who are very unlikely friends as they decide to work together to help raise funds for a homeless charity. And it's just really wholesome and sweet, and it just made me happy. And if you want something to just make you feel good, you know, restore your faith in humanity, read that book. Another book that made me really happy was Betting on You by Lynn Painter. This one. This is my first Lynn Painter book, but it's so cute and so sweet, and it just made me happy. I feel like romance books will also make you really happy. The vibes, and also Charlie and Bailey. I love Charlie and Bailey so much. They're so cute. Just lovely people. This book just made me happy. I don't know why. I really love this book. Actually, no. At some point, this book made me sad. But most of the time, at the end of the day, it made me happy. Okay, like by the end of it, I was very happy. So, made me happy, I guess. Finally, what are some books that I need to read by the end of the year? We're gonna focus on my physical TBR, because that's a little out of hand. Some books that I need to read. Oh, I really want to read The Hobbit. Okay, I have the whole collection. And something that makes me really sad is we read The Hobbit for school. Like in school 2 years ago, and when I tell you, like, it was really good, but I wasn't paying any attention whatsoever. I was reading with my eyes, and the words were going in one eye and out the other eye, or brain, or ear. I don't know what term it is when it's reading, but you know how it goes in one ear, out the other? that, but reading. I was not paying attention at all, and that actually makes me really sad because I remember by the end of it and after I wrote my essay for it, I was like, wait, why was that actually a really good book? I think I've had these for like about a year now, maybe even more than a year, and I haven't read them yet. So I at least want to read The Hobbit, and I think I'm really gonna love the rest of the series because I love fantasy, and I remember it was good. I remember it was good, but I just didn't read it. That makes me upset. I also really need to read Divine Rivals. I have a confession. I asked my friend to get me this one for my birthday, and my birthday was a year ago. My birthday's coming up in 3 weeks, so you know it would have been a year. So I need to read this one. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. I'm just scared. Those are things on my physical TBR that I really want to read. I also want to at least start the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. Really want to read that. I also want to read The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, as well as Heartless. Sadly, I already know how that ends, but I do want to read that. I also want to read Red Rising by Pierce Brown, and oh gosh, I have so many books I want to read. It's actually okay, I could sit here for like hours telling you what I want to read, but these are stuff that I really want to read. The Midorian Chronicles, I think that's it, by Lynette Noni. The Naturals, I need to go and read The Naturals because why have I not read it yet? But that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoy, and I also hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I'm gonna make myself a hot chocolate after this with marshmallows.